you guys ever sneeze so hard you get your period? Yeah, me too. Really. People used to say that religion was the opiate of the masses, but thanks to the pharmaceutical industry, now opiates are the opiate of the masses. So it all works out. I used to mainline opiates and other narcotics. I was a research subject for these anesthesiologists. They would try their drugs out on me and then watch my response. So I went in for the first study, and the anesthesiologist, she pushed my sleeve up and stuffed the catheter in. And then as the drug was permeating through my body, she was like, now listen, this is a double-blind study. So neither of us knows if you're getting the drug or the placebo. But by the end of that sentence, one of us knew. It is not a placebo. Or it is the world's best placebo. It's hard to tell. It was cool. They kept me doped up all day, and like every couple of hours, somebody would come in and make me play a video game to test my motor skills. Like make sure they didn't break my brain entirely. And then at the end of the day, I got a chocolate chip muffin, $500, and a ride home. So, better than most dates I go on, really. You know, getting paid to get roofied. It's illegal, you know, you can't rent out your vagina, that's prostitution, that's illegal, but you can rent out your entire central nervous system. And that's just good science at that point. We decided to have an intervention for this friend of mine. And I was nervous because I never did anything like that before. And it didn't go at all how I thought it would. She ended up convincing all of us to try Coke. I guess what I learned is that interventions are pretty fun. And I would probably do another one, like giving me the opportunity. You know, I was going to school to become a psychologist. I thought, therapist, that's perfect. I'm a good listener, I'm a people person, and I found out right away at my internship that I'm neither of these things. Like 20 minutes into my first one-on-one session with a patient, I realized I am way too pro-suicide to be a therapist. This is not going to work. But it wasn't a total waste. I will still use my degree occasionally to trick doctors into giving me psychotropic drugs for recreational use. Because I do suffer from ADD, which is an adult desire to do speed. And it's important to take care of that, you know. I'm glad we won't need a prescription for marijuana in LA very soon. It's been nice. Yeah, we can finally give up the ruse of being ill. You know, yeah, I wasn't suffering from debilitating homophobia this whole time. I just wanted the weed. Did you know that women who wear high-heeled shoes are actually twice as likely to have kids as women who don't, who are in their same socioeconomic group? And it's partly because they look better, but it's mostly because they can't get away. You strap those heels on and throw in some alcohol, you're basically a limpy gazelle in the wild, just waiting to be attacked. And I only recently learned that the term rape culture has nothing to do with the music and fashion of rapists. Apparently. You know, whenever somebody says on stage, like, hey, I just had a kid, everybody applauds like it's some sort of accomplishment. I'm like, hey, I just successfully used contraception. Where's my applause? Right? Thank you. Yes, I am menstruating, so it's legit. And you know, it's weird, like a baby growing inside you, it's kind of like a physical parasite, really. And then when it gets older, it becomes an emotional parasite. So I feel that we could convince more Republicans to get on board with abortion if we just called it freedom. Because that's what it is, you guys. I love the term developing nation. It's such a polite way to say garbage country. You know, the Apple company, they're going to install trans-friendly bathrooms for all of their overseas child laborers by 2018. And by 2020, they might even get bathroom breaks. So it'll work out. It'll work out really well. But, you know, we are actually pretty close to being able to abolish slave labor altogether using technology. You know, we're going to replace all of the slaves with robots. Now, we are actually going to need, to make all the robots, we're going to need quite a few slaves. So there may be a hole or two in this plan. I do think it's sort of cute that there are still people that believe the U.S. gets involved in wars for humanitarian reasons. Have you met us? We're very selfish. We're not trying to help anybody. It reminds me of when I dated this really selfish guy, and like one day out of the blue, he was like, I'm going to start volunteering at the YMCA for humanitarian reasons. Which later turned out to be court-ordered, DUI-related humanitarian reasons. Right? Yeah, he was kind of douchey. One day he found something on his penis, and he tried to blame it on me. He was like, well, obviously I got this from you, because you're a little sluttier than me. You've been with like 20 more people than me. I'm like, dude, I'm like 15 years older than you. You know, do the math. It's average. It's totally average. But the joke was on him. You know what? It turned out it wasn't even an STD. He went to the doctor. It was just a tumor. You ever wake up really hungover and you look over at the guy next to you in bed and you're like, oh shit, he still lives here. Didn't take care of that yet. A few years ago, I moved all the way across the country for my first high-paying corporate job as a data scientist. And it was awesome. Like, I had a killer apartment. I was making a shit ton of money. You guys, I got laid off right away. That did not last. So now I'm just doing this shit. Did you know that most humans can't tell the difference between a poem that was generated by a machine and one that was written by an English professor? And the reason is because in both cases, nobody gives a shit. There was this paper that came out of MIT by these data scientists who, they essentially proved in this paper that most current conspiracy theories are rooted in truth. But the authors of the paper are missing. I don't know what's going to happen with that. You know, a few months ago, WikiLeaks revealed that the CIA can covertly eavesdrop on anyone who has a Samsung smart TV. And ever since then, Samsung has sold a lot more TVs to really lonely people who just want to believe that someone is listening to them. You guys, I'm so over holistic healing. You know what? I've had 3 exorcisms, and I still have syphilis. So what's the point? I'm sure you can all tell from my accent that I'm vegan. But I'm thinking, like, I'm going to take it to the next level. I'm going to go on a raw diet, you know? It seems like a good time, because my gas got shut off. So I'm going to give it a shot. But, you know, over the years, as our population has grown fatter and fatter, the fat joke has really suffered. Because once something applies to 80% of the population, what good is it? It's like, your mom is as fat as my mom. Your girlfriend's so fat, I bet you just had sex with her. Anyway. You're so fat, you go to work and everybody's like, yeah, business as usual. And now we're going to have a fat Barbie because we've decided that, like, if we have to be fat, she should have to be fat, too. And, like, the new Barbie dream house is going to have a room in it where there's a Barbie so obese that you actually can't get the doll out of the room. It's going to drive kids nuts. All right, I want to end my set with a little bit of audience interaction. So I'm going to interact with one of you. You can say anything you want into this microphone, and then I will say something witty in response.
Say something funny.
Say something funny. You know what? That is perfect. Because that is my time. Thank you.